taketones.com. taketones.com.
Of you saying, yes, we employ people on this podcast. There is a staff here that relies on this money the same way all of us rely on money from this podcast. When you left Complex, I do know there was people there that were probably not Complex employees. They were, 1099, you getting hired for that specific thing. And I remember Everyday Struggle to be a pretty popular fucking show. Did you feel that same way when you left?
Well, same way.
There's a lot of people that rely on Everyday Struggle right now, outside of myself, that have built their career around this. If I leave here, maybe they'll miss a steady paycheck because it was an everyday show. So I'm sure a lot of people that were gaffers and camera guys or whatever, that was a consistent paycheck. It was like, all right, I can't even take gigs right now because I got to do this shit Monday through Thursday.
I'm glad you asked that. Let me clear up a common
misconception. And I wasn't coming to ask you. I'm just curious if you thought that.
I would never feel like you coming at me. Here's the kicker. I never left Complex. I never voluntarily left Complex. I never said, yo, I'm not coming into work at Complex. That's not what happened at all at Complex. I understand that when I come in here, and that's what I'm saying about there being an art to shaking a tree. I come in here and I go on these rants.
Okay, let me pause before Joe finishes his thought. So what Rory tried to bring up in terms of like a retort, he was trying to basically say, hey, I stopped showing up to this podcast, and yeah, it was to prove a point in this and third, and yes, I was in my feelings, blah, blah, blah. And Joe was like, you abandoned the podcast. And because Joe was coming at him like that, he said, well, Joe, when you had your issues, because I think, here's the fucked up thing. They think they're pulling a Joe move by not, like, when they thought they were sitting out, they think they were pulling a Joe move. So they're looking at Joe like, yo, didn't you do the same thing at Complex? Right? Now, let me give and I'll let Joe speak after, but let me give you the Complex story. By the way, half of the reason why I stayed at Complex, y'all heard of the other half with, vote this, that, cool, whatever. But half of the reason were those people I worked with. And by the way, remember I had no really on camera, really professional out there industry training. A lot of these guys who are working with my mic man, salute to my man Dre, salute to my camera operator, the director, salute to Greg, like all the people who I still love so dearly, all the social editors we've ever had, salute to all the producers, salute to all of them. It was an individual opportunity, decision for me to make. When Joe left Everyday Struggle, if I left too, Everyday Struggle would be done. There would be never another episode. And obviously, as I said, there's another 50% of it, but 50% of it was like, yo, these people, they're my team. And it was the biggest lesson I had to learn. I had to step up as a leader. And I used to just chill back and not really say nothing when Joe was around, because I was learning the ropes so much. And I just remember when they were basically even the execs, they were like, yo, we're giving this shit to you. And I realized I had to take it up on myself, yo, you have to be a leader. And in deciding that and seeing how many people did, I had so many good relationships with them. And also I was caring about their jobs and everything. By the way, it's the same thing with Everyday Struggle going off air permanently. When we had that last conversation, me and Complex executives, the first thing I said is, what happens to my staff? What happens? I said, what happens to Roger? He's our producer. What happens to him? He used to salute my man Roger. He used to work at XXL. I said, what happens to him? He left XXL to come work with us. It's not going to rub me the right way. I'm going to be good. It's not going to rub me the right way if you're going to tell him he's fired and whatever. They made a personal promise, which, by the way, I think they did a really good job keeping up with. They said, Roger, we're going to reassign him. He'll still be within the company. These other people, will move them around. We're not going to throw people that used to get paid off of your show into the streets. And I felt that was a good thing by Complex, and I took that news way better. You get me? So going back to when Joe left, I think Joe had his own situation with Complex, but I could tell you, for me, what Rory's saying, that was a decision for me. I think Joe was in a very different situation with Complex that possibly didn't involve those coworkers. But I'll let him speak now.
And you pull from it what you pull from it. But if you pull the wrong shit, then you miss the whole thing altogether. Rory, before that Complex job started, it was a Monday through Thursday thing. And if you paid more, then we could do Fridays. They started pulling tricks with the Friday. I still was showing up Monday through Thursday.
I remember. And
I just wasn't coming in Friday, and then they pulled the shenanigans.
I meant the renew. The re-up on.
But there
on
was
the
no renew because the company decided not to renew my contract because I wasn't playing ball with Fridays, and I was costing them money.
Well, there's a little bit. It's not my place to speak on that, but trust me, I got a Complex. I was like, yo, we get this nigga back. Again, their dealings, I'm going to leave it up to them unless I'm brought into it, but okay, whatever. I'm not going to jump in and say anything.
I could never feel like the way you're saying because I'm aware that the show must go on. Even if you created it. Boy, talk about a hard pill to swallow there. The show goes on even if you created it. That is a fact. So when we as men go to bed at night, we got to face with back to that replaceable shit Maul said earlier. Well, we're all replaceable. So now the question is, who you replacing me with? And that's what it was. Hey, you could get rid of me, but in getting rid of me, you better know that you got a seat to fill. And they tried it. They brought in Star, the most controversial, the father of niggas. That's it. Acting Star. I'm sure the suit said smash. What happens is not smash. Oh, bring somebody else in. But that's not because I was like, fuck y'all, suck my dick, I want to ruin the show. I thought that was the best thing ever created.
Oh, no.
The suits handled it wrong. That's where a lot of my past resentment towards y'all come from.
Let me translate what Joe is saying here, too. Joe is saying here, let me show y'all another reason why, if y'all thought what y'all did is the same and you're going to liken it to what I did at Complex. First of all, and he said some business stuff. Again, I will have no comment about that unless my name is brought up. I have no comment. Then he said, secondly, everybody could be replaced, but I'm down to take the bet that I wasn't going to be replaced as easily by Complex. He's basically telling these niggas, y'all were replaced. Y'all ain't me. When Joe left, yes, stuff looked different. When y'all left, okay, the core was upset, but the show continued. If you're not Joe, you can't just dip. That's what I keep saying. You have to be that talented to be pulling certain moves. I don't agree with about 89% of what Joe does when he negotiates or gets in a contract with any company, especially of recently. But unless you're Joe Budden level talent, unless you're Joe Budden himself, you can't do certain shit. It ain't fair. This is a merit game. You got to be able to have the talent or have walked the walk that you could be in certain positions. That's how it is.
But because I have 20 years of seeing how the suits treat us, and I don't do y'all like that. And if y'all don't know that, and if y'all don't feel that, and if y'all don't see that, and if y'all don't trust and believe that, then yeah, we got a lot more problems than you inviting me to your hands every week. That's the least of the issues.
Okay, so I don't want to accuse you of dancing.
Give it to me.
But from my understanding, from what I believe is recorded and on this podcast and was a big deal, yes, you did leave Complex because you felt the business dealings there when I believe it was a Spotify deal.
By the way, if this is Rory basically telling you that he attempted the same thing Joe did by not showing up to the podcast. He's basically saying, wait, why when I did it to you it's wrong, but when you did it to Complex it's right? So hear what he said. When you left Complex, it's because the business dealing wasn't right. Why would he say that unless he's basically hinting that I left that the business dealings wasn't right? Again, I'm just only pointing out very obvious facts.
Maybe a Nike deal or something where you wanted to have
On Fridays.
Yeah, you wanted to have some type of revenue within each ad play.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So there was a problem within the business.
No. But wait, wait. Let me add something to you. Let me add something to you, just so you know. Back to the art of shaking the tree.
And I wasn't there.
I'm giving this to you.
I'm not saying what happened.
And you could keep this
just
going.
From what I remember you telling me.
No, it's much deeper than that.
Okay.
I thought that they were getting money that they would not be able to get without me.
This is a great conversation. Joe is talking over this guy's head. This guy is saying, Joe, I did the same thing you did at Complex. Joe keeps telling him, what I did is because I knew I was the nigga. Remember that. Remember that. That's all he's telling that nigga Rory. I did that shit because I knew I was the guy. I knew if I stopped doing that, they can't get that money without me. That's what Joe's telling him. Nigga, me and Joe talked. Like, without saying too much, like, I don't want to say too much. But Joe he put in a bet that he called, me and Joe used to have all these conversations. Joe called me and said, Ak. As I said, the day that Joe found out that's what Spotify paid Complex, and then he knew what he got, and I told him what I got, Joe said to me, Ak, it was a huge deal. He says, Ak, Spotify doesn't give Complex this money if it's not Akademiks and Joe. It's not because of Complex. It's Ak and Joe. They want us on a Friday, but it has to be me and you. And he said, Ak, these niggas ain't about to play us with that. They're getting this and we getting this. He said, you know what? We're not contractually obligated to do that. They came approaching us like, hey, we're doing a show Monday to Thursday. Hey, could y'all do Friday? And he was down to do Friday. But when he found it out, it was like, nah, I changed my mind. But now you're not playing ball. And me and Joe was like, yo, Ak, don't, like, hey, if you don't do it, they're fucked. Now I'm going to be honest, and you could think of me whatever, but I looked at it, whatever, and I this whole shake the tree shit, I was like, before I really, like, when niggas offer a contract, right? When you sign it, you think you that is some indication that you think you have gotten paid for what your worth is. If your worth happens to be greater, I believe you wait till the next contract renegotiation and you tax these motherfuckers. So I was waiting for that. I ended up doing it. I believe, and I think really how the story goes is like Complex had to amend their deal with Spotify because Joe was right. The deal that they signed for that big lump sum of money said Joe Budden had to be on screen with Akademiks. So when it's only Akademiks and there's no Joe Budden, that original deal is null and void. They had to almost come up with an alternative deal that says Akademiks and another celebrity guest. And again, that's clearly different than what Everyday Struggle was, Ak and Joe. That's one of the times, I could be honest, that Joe bet on himself. And truth be told, he was right. Now let me ask y'all. Do you think that, let's say Joe made nice for Spotify. Do you think that Spotify would give him less money if he had replaced Mealy Mall and Rory with the two new guys? Or would they give him the same amount? If I'm a betting man, I'm going to say the same amount. That's why Joe is talking to Rory like that. He's saying you can't use a Complex situation to mirror your own. When I left, Complex couldn't get the same for their shit because I was the nigga. You're not the nigga here. I could get the same amount for this podcast with you here or not here. Bingo. Rory doesn't get that. He's still he's still trying to liken it to the Complex situation.
That's what happened. I thought that they were procuring deals that were solely predicated on my presence. And I had to go do a lot of snooping around, barging in offices.
Again, with information. He found out how much the deal was. Talked to enough people to be like, wait, have they ever done deals like this before with y'all? No? I wonder why they're doing this deal now. Oh, they like the interaction of you and Ak. Oh, shit, they like Ak's platform. They like what you've been doing with your podcast and other things and you media personality. They want both of y'all with the Spotify logo over it. You got to give him that. Smarts. These niggas think that their worth to the Joe Budden podcast is equivalent to Joe Budden's worth to Everyday Struggle in 2017.
Talking to people I wasn't supposed to talk to, just snoop. You know the fucking game. To get the information and decide.
Let me just tell you this. The reason why I've gotten everything I've gotten, materialistic wise, money wise, this and third, is not being delusional. It's not being delusional. This whole concept I see people running with on Twitter, and I blame Joe a little bit for this. Know your worth, know your worth. Everybody think they're worth $1 billion. How do you properly gauge your worth? The highest offer is your worth. Or you could not take it, but it's still your worth. Nobody's offering more. Remember that.
All right, you know what? All my chips into the table. All my chips into the table, I'm moving. And by the grace of God, at Complex at least, I was right. I was right. They put somebody else in the seat.
I'm only going to stop Joe before he says this, because one part he's admitting is that Everyday Struggle would have been on for 20 plus years. And by the way, this problem happened even while Joe was there. Joe knew. We kept getting information from Complex to say their sales team was having a problem selling a hip-hop show that was unscripted, that was basically off people's opinions, that involved cursing and very cultural conversations. They could get $5 million for a sneaker episode, for a hype beast episode, for something that seemed a little cleaner, but two black men arguing about hip-hop, cursing, talking like they were in the barbershop. And even then, we even said we could stop cursing or we'll get our editor to fucking edit out all the curses. The sales team was unable to secure a lot of ads that could complement the content. That's why when me and Joe, even though we're averaging 500,000 plus views per daily episode, we had 0 ads. The sales team, for whatever reason, was unable to do that. That's one of the things me and Joe talked about in length. That's one of the things he did not mention. That problem didn't only exist with Joe there. When Star came there, when Wayno came there, it was very difficult to get in on sponsorships. think about it. Every day's on the sticks that's coming back. I'm headed to Complex next week, so you'll see me up there. I'm headed to Complex next week. I'm gonna be filming on the sticks, and they love that show. Oh, great! It's a video game show. Like, hey, it's not gonna be too wild, like shit. Even we do edits, but we send it to the advertiser that they could look at to make sure it's okay. I obviously operate certain ways to make sure the person who's paying a lot of money is not fucking, it's not Twitch. I get it. But again, when it came to Everyday Struggle, they had a problem with that. They had a problem with trying to get all that going. I'll let Joe continue.
The money. My life is dedicated to this. It is carefully vetted and sourced. Fuck Spotify. I say it now. Know why? Because I already spent the millions of hours it takes.
Hold up now.
And looking at the thousands of variables that could exist in me saying, hey, wait a minute. What if I say fuck Spotify?
Wait, hold on now. We might cut this off.